You're welcome to Business Highlights on Trust TV. My name is Chamun Dabeng. Now take a walk with me as we highlight business events that happened over the week. So let's take a sneak peek at what's been happening in the business and economic world. Nigerian hospitals usually get a bad rap due to personal experiences of many Nigerians, from accusations of medical malpractice to poor treatment of patients and mean nurses. It's a nice thing to hear a glowing report of a healthcare facility. Let's listen to this lady speak on her personal experience in a healthcare facility in Kwali.
Stay here in Kwali. 22 years now, but my closeness with them starts in 3 years' time. Since I've been attending antenatal, postnatal, and the rest of them. They did it normally as it's supposed to. During this period now, because when I had my second child, we've been to COVID-19 period, so they will ask all of us to space ourselves using the nose mask, and they take every child as time goes on, change your the newspaper, so that they will do the sanitizing process normally. And immunization process was okay. Nutritionalists, doctors, in fact, virtually all of them are available to attend to us, and they are doing fine.
Now, it's a wonderful thing hearing such a glowing review, but it's necessary to take a deep look at the medical sector in Nigeria. It would be impossible to ignore the fact that there are so many problems with Nigerian healthcare facilities. A PwC survey of Nigerians found that more than 90% of respondents associated advanced healthcare delivered in Nigeria with low quality. Data shows that in the past 10 years, Nigerians have spent an estimated sum of $11.01 billion on health-related services outside the country. Medical tourism is costing the nation quite a fortune and adding to the FX pressures that Nigeria struggles with, as the country loses about $2 billion in foreign exchange annually to medical tourism. While Nigeria records significant capital flights to fund the health-related services abroad, it records no inflow from reciprocal services in Nigeria. Furthermore, experts have said the country could be losing more than 576 billion naira yearly to medical tourism. Amongst the multiple issues facing the health sector is underfunding. Averagely, the sector has received 4.72% of the country's fiscal budget over the last 10 years. In order for the healthcare sector to grow and compete with its foreign counterparts and attract foreign investment, the sector needs proper funding to acquire equipment, qualified medical professionals. Medical practitioners must be given incentives to put an end to the ongoing brain drain in the sector and stop doctors from leaving the country in a bid to seek better working conditions. Now let's move on to a softer discussion and talk about cotton farming in Nigeria. Production of cotton in Nigeria has been in existence since 1903 and has been a major cash crop in Africa. Mainly in Nigeria, the areas cotton is grown in Nigeria is concentrated in the savanna belt of the country, which is the northern and southwestern Nigeria, such as Kano, Kaduna, Oyo, Ondo, Kwara, Katsina, Jigawa, Ogun, Kebbi, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. Sadly, Nigeria's cotton industry is taking a downward spiral towards extinction as the local market continues to shrink and slow seeds available to farmers despite the incentives of an alluring $3 trillion global industry. Once upon a time, Nigeria used to be Africa's leading cotton producer and 12th largest in the world. Cotton output nosedived by 91.53% to 51,000 metric tons in 2020 from its peak of 602,440 metric tons in 2010. Export earnings from cotton in Nigeria also plunged significantly to 866 million naira in the third quarter of 2020 from 1.71 billion in 2010. The country's share of Africa's cotton production by the end of 2020 stood at 27.89%, which when compared with Africa's projected cotton production share of 20.29% by 2029, it's actually expected to decline by about 7.60%. To hasten expansive economic growth through an overlooked part of the agri sector, Nigeria can very well utilize the world's $38.45 billion cotton industry, placing itself competitively through its major cotton producing states and enabling structures provided by the government. We'll take a short break, and when we get back, we'll talk dairy. You're welcome back to Business Highlights. And once again, my name is Chamon Dabeng. We're moving on to our next discussion on dairy production in Nigeria. So when we think of locally made dairy products, the mind goes straight to the Fulani woman selling furodinono by the roadside. But there is so much more to dairy farming and production. Milk sourced from cows has been used to make cheese, butter, yogurt, and so much more. Nigeria has the fifth largest cattle herd in Africa, with a cattle population that estimates at 20.7 million and is expected to grow to 53.6 million by 2050. However, the country's milk production accounts for only 13% of West African production and 0.01% of global dairy output. Let's listen to the president of Commercial Dairy Ranchers, Mr. Muhammadu Damaka Abubakar, talk about the dairy farming in Nigeria.
If you look at all these parameters, I think dairy fits in comfortably into all this. For economic desirability, it has the capacity to serve the country foreign exchange. It provides job for the teeming youth. It's a source of nutrition for the citizenry. And when it comes to technical feasibility, it's something that the country is used to for hundreds of years. In fact, we're all born to find ourselves that herdsmen are always around us, tendering to their cattle. So it tells you that the environment is good for cattle rearing, and you can just commercialize it. When you look at the commercial viability, you don't need anyone to tell you when foreign countries dump over 1.3 billion worth of dairy products on us annually. So if you can key into that, you'll make good chunk of money for yourself. So all the parameters that will make a business exist favors dairy as a business. You can start actually in any of the chain. It's a complete value chain from production through processing to marketing. At any of the chain, you can jump into it. You can either backward integrate or forward integrate as you like. So I think dairy is a good business, and it's all. It has been established that it's one of the best impact investment because it empowers the youth, the women, and those at the bottom of the pyramid. So dairy business has transformed families in India, in Kenya, and so many developing and developed countries. And there are a lot of countries that don't have oil, they don't have natural resources, but they depend solely on dairy as their major source of foreign exchange. Netherlands is a case in hand. So I feel that 1001 things will be said about dairy, and we can't get it wrong.
Now, this is an industry that has largely been ignored but must be grown, as the current milk production does not meet the market demand of 1.45 billion litres per annum. The former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Sabona Nono, had once said that 60% of dairy products consumed in the country are imported, while the remaining 40% are produced locally. As a matter of fact, Nigeria's dairy product importation is estimated at $1.5 billion. Some of the issues facing the industry are seasonal feed shortages, decreased land area available for grazing, cost and variable quality of purchased concentrate, feeds generic potential of cattle breeders currently used inappropriately, breed for local conditions, cost and access to artificial insemination services, diseases that cause mortality or affect reproduction. If these issues are resolved, the possibilities are endless. Now, on to our next story. During the 23rd World Petroleum Congress in Houston, Texas, USA, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Temipre Silva, said the federal government is currently working to grow the country's gas reserves from 206 trillion cubic feet to 600 trillion cubic feet. According to Silva, this increase would position Nigeria among the countries with the highest gas reserves in the world, stating that 600 trillion cubic feet reserves will help Nigeria to achieve the desired development required of a gas nation. He explained that so far gas was being used as a transition fuel, as Nigeria and Africa as a continent do not contribute more than 1% as carbon emission, aggravating the global warming situation. Silva also said that the future of the oil and gas industry in Nigeria is still very bright. further stating that when it comes to energy transition, oil will not be discarded the next day, adding that over the years, oil will account for less and less percentage in the global energy mix, meaning that oil will maintain its relevance in years to come, but it won't be as relevant as it is today. More to come right after the break.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the Trust TV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search Trust TV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
You're welcome back to the show, and we're moving on to our next discussion. We're going to be talking about point of sale stands. Yes, are they convenient or unsafe? Now, many Nigerians have had to use the services of POS stands. It's convenient, it's quick, as you do not need to stand in a line to get your money. Most outlets will charge a fee of 100 naira to 300 naira for their services, depending on the amount that is needed. However, it has been looked at with mixed feelings. Now, let's take a look at this video.
Well, it all depends. When it's very convenient for me, I go to the bank. But when it's not convenient for me, POS is more convenient because you can have it everywhere. At the point, I was skeptical. Because we have a lot of frauds going on these days. Yes, and I have seen people with bitter experience, using POS. But I think by and large, I think it's okay.
In our system currently, I think POS is more easier somehow. For example, POS cannot seize your card, so that is the advantage. And sometimes when you use the POS, you get paid instantly. But the only little disadvantage about POS is the decline in transaction, and most times it reverse back, just like normal ATM machine. But the disadvantage in ATM is that sometimes when it sees your bank, possibly weekend, or you're using another bank ATM, you cannot get your ATM card that same day back. They will refer you back to your bank, and you start, going through the process. There's a queue in the bank, but because in the society where we are right now, we need a quick cash in anything we're doing. Since they said it's cashless society, so in any corner of find ourselves, there's always POS. So it's better for me to use the POS where they will deduct their normal money.
When I started, although customer was afraid because they were thinking I was a fraud POS person. So the time came and they begin to patronize, and they now saw trust in it, and they start coming. And after that, I also faced a challenge of fraud people doing fake transfer. Normally, when we started, I normally receive phone transfer, but then when I receive a fraud set of people, I stopped doing I stopped accepting a phone transfer. Yeah.
With the news about the Yahoo boys using it to scam and all that, yes, I've actually been scared, and I'm also still scared. Just that it's closer to my house, so I prefer using it because there are some people that I actually trust. So I just make use of one particular person to withdraw.
It's very fast. You can just go there, withdraw your money under 2 minutes, and you're out. But for the bank, you have to waste time before you didn't reach your turn. You're not even sure if you reach your turn, there'll still be money at the ATM.
Challenges I faced when I started was the network issue and every other thing. People don't know what is called POS then. So a lot of challenges like debits, they will think that it's scams or every other thing. But thank God now, many of them have known the business.
Now, watching this video, you will see that there is some level of distrust from both the patronizer and the agents themselves. Both agent and patron have been victims of POS scams. In 2020, POS fraud increased by 173% and 215% year-on-year, respectively. Now, the question of what to be done has become a bit of a dilemma. If you ban POS outlets, then many Nigerians will be left without a source of livelihood. It seems in this case, we have found ourselves in between the devil and the deep blue sea. Coming up next is railway transportation. Yes, let's move on and talk about that. Now, when it comes to comfort, safety, speed, and being pocket-friendly, railway seems to be the preferred option. Now, let's listen to this passenger speak about the train transportation in the country.
It's a very long history. Since when I was small, my mother used to take me down to railway station. I do come to the railway station since when I'm young. My mother would take me down to here. And today I took myself with my family. I mean, it's a very long time train have been stopped, but now, due to the Mr. President is trying to motivate the movement of the train, and that is why I decided to follow the train today with my own family. There is a lot of challenge. There is some kind of traffic also in the road like that. And insecurity issues is there, and some other things there. It is very nice. When you join the train, you can be able to receive some kind of different things in the road. Now, you can see river, the train is the top of the river, is a part of the social experience. That is why I decided to take my wife with my daughter and then to see who is going to be the first time for them to the train. And it's a lot of things. All the trains I used to come, they're not a passenger, they just come there to teach certain things for the passengers. They're eating their curry, then there is some of them in some people, and those that have small instrument of the curry, a razor blade, because the passenger was sitting by his hands in the pocket, they don't move away with it. So, when you don't look like I want to advise the security of this unit. Life is very important. And whatsoever we have is very important. That is why you are having it. If you are not a good passenger, the security has to take measure on that issue. Whenever you are coming in, you have to show your ticket before you break into. For those who are making business there, they have certain things they have to be shown by the management here. But now, instead of when there are some others, they come without anything, they just want them to keep. And even the passengers, so please, I'm calling to the government. People below there, the chance of all this train, please, they need to motivate and they need to be very update their security with the passengers. Because if there is no security, the passenger will not come to the railway station. Because due to the problem or the financial problem that people have, they want to go on this thing because it's a very cheap.
Now, the Nigerian Railway Corporation (NRC) generated 2.1 billion naira as revenue from passengers and cargo within the first half of 2021, which shows the rising demand for rail services in the country. This is a clear indication that the rail transport system is growing in demand in Nigeria. As the demand continues to grow, so do issues facing railway transport. The issue of petty thievery in train stations is a worldwide problem, so passengers must always remain vigilant. There is a need for the government to expand the railway system to meet the growing demand, ensure the safety and comfort of the passengers, and maintain the trains for proper functionality. The adoption of train transport could help solve the road transport problems of accidents and tight traffic affecting road and could add greatly to the Nigerian economy. Now, on to our last story for today, and that is the commercialization of 12 river basins. Now, Director River Basin Operations and Inspection at the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, John Ochigbo, announced this week that the federal government is set to commercialize the nation's 12 river basins to enable them function effectively. Before 2016, the river basins were basically comatose, but the basins are being repositioned for more efficiency by engaging professionals to manage their affairs. It would also enable them to generate increased revenues for the government, guaranteeing a return on investment. The basins have huge infrastructure like water supply schemes, dams, and irrigation infrastructure that require good funding to be able to keep them running and to provide dividends for the country. This could possibly be a great opportunity to increase foreign direct investment in the nation, which will in turn increase the country's gross domestic product. Well, that is all for today. We have come to the end of Business Highlights. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. All you need to do is look us up on Trust TV, and you'll definitely find us there. Well, once again, my name is Chamun Dabeng, signing out.